Okay, today we're going to talk about how to make this guessing game. So the main idea is to first two players each have to take turns to flip 5 coins, and we're guessing the number of heads. So that will be between 1 and 5. And then adds all the heads together, and then whoever gets the right number within 4 tries gets to move on to this roll 3 dices, which is roll 3 dices and then adds all the values together. And then they're gonna take turns until they one of them reaches 1000. Okay, a score of 1000. Okay, so as you can see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 functions. This function instruction is not really a function, it's just repeating messages I don't want to type again. So 4 functions really. So in the beginning of the code, I import random module, and then I open my file, named it as game tracker, and this command will help me to write my file. And then my first function is called flip 5 coins. I'm using the list, so I'm making a coin empty list, and then for a coin in range 5, it's gonna roll the dice for 5 times, and the head's gonna count for 1. So it's gonna add all the heads together, and there we get the results of the number of heads. And then this is just instruction, and then roll 3 dices. I used pretty much exactly the same thing, and it adds all the dices number together. And then the next biggest one of the biggest function here is flip coins, and then my variable is gonna be the player. That way I don't have to enter the player twice. Okay, so I'm gonna make a false guess as 8. That way it's gonna guarantee to get into my 4 loops. And then I'm gonna set my count. This count is gonna help me later to count how many tries it took for the player to get to the right number of heads. And I'm gonna create 2 empty lists. This is not really helping the game, but it will help me to write my files later. So here is the for loop. For I in range 4, that will guarantee the players have 4 tries, right? And here's update my count and guess, and then here is my player. So whoever is guessing, it will tell you, please enter your guess between 1 to 5. And then it will append guesses into this list, and then flip coins, and then I'm gonna store my number of heads here, and then also store all the number of the number of heads, and then print there were number of heads, and here, if the number of heads equals to guess, which means the player has guessed it right, and it has two situations. The first one is when the player guessed it in the first try, it will tell the player, says, "Good job, you guessed the heads on the first try." And it's, at the same time, it's gonna write on my file too. And then instruction, and then because the player guessed it right, so we're gonna roll the dice, and then store the dice value, and then tell the player this is how much you rolled, and then write on the file at the same time, print this is your score, because it's only one guess, so that's just 1 times this number. And then file in the same time, it will tell you whoever was playing this score is for this turn is this thing, and then return the value, and then break. And else, which means the player uses less than 5 tries, but guess the right number. And it's pretty much the same as that one, except the printout is a little different. And there's another situation which is out of those two, is the number of heads not equals to guess, which means the player didn't get the right number within 4 tries. And then it's gonna print out those things and return 0 as the result for that particular turn. And there is my main function. So first I'm gonna print out "Welcome to the 2 players guessing game," and then write the title. And then I'm gonna ask for the player's name. And then it will say, it will grade the 2 players. And here's my headings for the files. So in my file, it says Gloria versus Derek. And then here, I set up my lists, empty list, score 1 for player 1 and score 2 for player 2. And here's my round count. I will tell the players how many turns there are as the game continues. And here's my while loop. While the sum of score 1, because my score 1 is a list, so I will sum them. And when this is less than 1000 and also score 2 is less than 1000, this is gonna be true. So here I updated my round count, and then we'll print out the count number, and at the same time write on my file and print the headings. And here I print out a little instruction, and tells the player whose turn it is on the file. And then I'm gonna score 1, flip coins. Yep, and then here I'm gonna flip the coins, and also at the same time I add that information to my score 1 to my list. And then it will tell me the score, how many scores for this current turn, and then will tell you the current score with all the sums together. And then it will tell you this is the next player's turn, and then doing the same thing. And there, as it continues, it will break when one of them reaches 1000. And if whoever get the higher score, it will say congratulations who won the game. And here else it's gonna be very rare that the two players get the same score, and in that case they're gonna have to play it again to find out who wins. And then here I close the file and invoke it. So to answer the questions, because the players get scores this way, times of tries times the rolled dice number. The players do not want to guess the right number of heads on the first try. Whoever takes the most tries but less than 5 times to get to the right number of heads would score more. However, this game is completely random, so there is not really a winning strategy. I always choose 3 as my number of heads, and the other person choose 2. It took us 64 rounds to finish the game, and I won the game 38 points over Derek. Okay, so here I'm going to show you the example run. Here it grades the name. I will just let you look through it. And there, congrats me. There's my name, and it shows my current score. And Derek's score was, oh, I'm sorry, this is Derek's score and this is my score. So yeah, I won. And here is the text file. It just appears right next to my py file. And here is my game tracker Texas file. And it's pretty simple and straightforward. And in the end of the game, here is Gloria has won the game. Okay,